Hello and welcome back. We're going to continue our work in Unit 4, our 1-point perspective room project, and today we're going to look at Lesson 4.08 and we're going to be drawing a bed. So we're going to open up our file, we're going to draw our bed, draw, erase, and then when we're all done, we'll save our project and we'll take a screenshot of our progress. So let's go ahead and open up our existing project. I'm going to get out to my desktop here and I'm going to go to my File Explorer. I'm going to go to my Digital Art Studio folder. I'm going to click on my Paint 1-point perspective room folder, and in there I will find my file. I'm going to right click on that file, open with, and force it to open Paint, our program. All right, there's where we left off the last time. So we're going to go ahead and continue to draw in our 1-point perspective room project. Today we're going to add a bed. So we're going to start drawing our bed by using a rectangle tool. So I'm going to click on the rectangle tool. I'm going to make sure it's a solid outline. I'm going to make sure that it's also 1 pixel wide. And I'm going to come down here to the bottom on the floor, and I'm going to make sure that I'm drawing the footboard of the bed. So I went a little bit away from my baseboard. I'm going to draw up a little taller than my baseboard. Go something like that. This will be the footboard of my bed. From there, I can start and do some erasing. So let me slide or scroll in. When I get in close enough here, I can use my magnifying glass to get a little closer. I'm going to use my eraser tool and I'm going to go inside this rectangle. This is the footboard of my bed. I'm going to erase all the lines inside my footboard. Cleaning, oops, Control Z if I make a mistake. I got too excited there. Cleaning up around the edges probably would be best first. And then you can erase the center areas a little, little more quickly. Get rid of these lines that were floor lines that are now in the way. All right, so there's the footboard of my bed. I'm now going to go ahead and draw the mattress or the center part of the bed. So I'm going to start at the vanishing point and I'm going to draw down to the corner. And that kind of falls in line with that floor line, which was poor planning on my part. We're going to go down to this one here to the bottom there. And I'm going to click on here and do the top over here. If I need to adjust, I can always adjust. All right, that looks pretty good there. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so I can see this floor line a little bit more easily. I'm going to start at the vanishing point and I'm going to grab this line here at the top. And that's going to make my life really challenging. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase this. This is kind of cheating, but it's actually not. It's like thinking ahead. That line would have been so hard to erase. So I'm just going to get rid of that line that I don't need. And then I'm going to start at the vanishing point and draw down to that corner. Okay, so that helps me from trying to erase a line next to a line that I need. Now it's touching. That looks pretty good. Okay, I'm going to slide out just where I was. I'm going to slide over a little bit so I can see my vanishing point and my bed. So I'm going to grab these extra pixels while I have that eraser, clean that up. All right, it's going to be a little bit confusing for a moment because I have a lot of stuff happening inside this box, but we're going to talk about the back side of the bed or the headboard. So I'm going to start here on the floor line. This is the edge of the bed coming back on the floor before I get to the baseboard. I'm going to start there and I'm going to draw a line straight up. This is where parallel lines come in really handy because the front of the bed here is perfectly straight. The back of the bed here needs to be perfectly straight as well. Where that line intersects on this top edge of the mattress or the bed, I'm going to start there and I'm going to draw straight over to the right side. And I'm about 1 pixel high. So I think that looks better. Once I have that line, I'll click off of it to set that line. Okay, now I have this beautiful rectangular prism of a bed. So I'm going to grab my eraser tool and I am going to zoom in so I can see. I'm going to erase everything beyond my rectangular prism, going back into space, carefully to erase this line inside my baseboard. I don't want to erase that baseboard and beyond the baseboard. And this line over here beyond the top of that bed. Okay, now gets a little tricky here. The bottom of this bed is not a floor line, so I'm going to erase that little triangle piece there carefully without erasing my bed. And now everything inside the rectangular prism needs to go away. So remember, every pixel counts, so you're going to be really careful here at erasing using your eraser tool. Okay, this looks a little funky here, so I'm actually going to take one more pixel out here. That looks a little better. And when I come in here, I'm going to take one out on that side, cleaning that up there as well. So you just have to kind of pay attention to the lines that you think you need, those pixels that you need, and the ones you don't. Okay, now this is a very basic bed. You could certainly do bunk beds, you could do a wide king size bed, you could do all kinds of things in your room. This one is just a very basic bed, which is also fine as well. All right, so that's just a rectangular prism. If we want to dress this up a little bit, we could add a headboard here. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And I got my rectangle tool, and I'm just going to draw a rectangle on this back wall. And I will move it over one pixel that way, so it's in line. I can do something like that. We could extend our footboard and make our footboard stand up a little bit off the end there as well. That can be kind of fun. And I've also had students in the past where they're like, yeah, but like the footboard still looks like flat. And so you can certainly, if you want to, draw rectangular prisms and make your footboard and headboard three-dimensional as well. Okay, so that's completely up to you how far you want to take that, but that is a very, very basic construction of a bed. If you have any questions or concerns about this step of the project, please reach out and let me know. Before we do anything more, we do need to save our project. So File, Save, or hit that Save button at the top of your screen. And then we're going to take a quick screenshot. So Windows Shift S is my shortcut. For the snipping tool, I'll draw my box around what I want to save. Notice it's almost the entire screen. And then I will take my screenshot and save that in my folder. So I'm going to hit the Save button. I'm going to find my documents, find digital art, find my screenshots, and in here I'm going to type my lesson 4.08, and it's a bed, and I hit save. Now that the screenshot is done, I'm ready to turn that into my progress sketchbook. Again, as always, if you have any concerns or questions about this step of the project, please reach out and let me know. Otherwise, enjoy the process.